Hey, I want to go to Ed. He's on hold. Thanks for Ed. I appreciate you holding. I know you had to sit through some of those commercials. Here you
That's
got a
all right.
story, buddy. Man, what's going on? Welcome to Let's Get Real.
Well, as I was telling you, I've been taught since a child to shout down the feelings, and a couple months ago, I rented a room from this couple that portrayed themselves as old school deadheads, kind, and all that, and found out they weren't. Found out they were real just takers, and I'm a giver. I'm trying to live a kind, peaceful life. I've been into like the reggae rise up scene, and that's how I want to live my life. I went away 2 separate times the first month I lived there, and they went into my room both times. Well, the second time they went in, I put a locking knob on my door. Well, apparently they didn't notice for a while, but I went away this past weekend to Cocoa Beach, and when I came home on Monday, they had changed all the locks on the house and changed the garage code and all that, telling me that who the F do I think I am putting a lock on the door in their house and this and that, and they wanted me out immediately. Well, Tuesday, I was to have a procedure to remove a stent for a kidney stone.
Okay.
And they couldn't get it out. So Wednesday they had to admit me for surgery. So during this time, I've been trying to scramble to find a place to live, which has been nearly impossible. And in the 11th hour yesterday, I found a place in northern St. Pete. And I've been just going back and forth, trying to move everything with my Kia Soul. And it's been rough, man. I could really use a hug, and it's not acceptable for guys to ask each other for that anymore. And I don't know, man. You guys really touched me with what you were discussing today.
I love you, Ed. And I think it's very fitting that you drive a Kia Soul with that big heart you got.
Yeah, man. It's it is tough. Do you have? Let me ask you a couple of questions, man. Do you have? I mean, I know you're scrambling and you got the surgery and you're trying to move out of the evil deadheads, but I mean, do you have somebody around you? You got some like any like physically anybody?
I have nobody, man. Nobody.
I'm sorry, man. That makes it harder. Do you go anywhere like community spaces? Meaning, like do you ever go out into like a coffee shop or something like that?
I don't. I suffer from PTSD, so I'm a shut-in pretty much, and I don't really associate with many people. I do at the shows I go to. I went to go see Sarah Nation last night at the Florida Social, and it was incredible. And I love the vibe and all the love in that genre of music, and it's helped me get through.
Yeah,
and,
I mean, I guess I'm trying to think of like ways for you to, because that is exactly it. Like, get yourself out, get around other human beings. I mean, Spanish and I are having a fun conversation about giving hugs, and I saw my buddy Bryce this morning, gave him a big hug. But man, there's power to that.
Oh yeah,
it is.
That even just
the
physical contact of just and like again, the show is called Let's Get Real for a reason. Okay. I'm tired of the BS of us as guys, like you can't show emotion, you can't have feelings, blah, blah, blah. No, we're just two dudes talking about our feelings.
Yeah.
You know
and
what?
Giving hugs. We hugged during the commercial break. Well, we should have.
Hey, where's the place you're going to be at tonight, Spanish?
I'm going to be at Sticks in Oldsmar from 9 to 11 p.m., Ed. But listen.
Is that kind of close to North St. Pete?
I don't think so. But if you stay if you stay on hold, I'll give you my cell phone number, and we can meet up on the pier.
Man?
Yeah, Doug, there's this place. Yeah, man, no, for real.
Awesome.
Yeah, there's this place. Ian Beckles owns a place called the Dignitary Cafe that I would love to take you to, and because they got a real good vibe in there. They always got great music. It's a bunch of like-minded people in there. Yeah,
so I just moved over off of MLK in 87th and St. Pete, so...
Yeah, man. Yeah, dude.
That would be awesome. Man, I've been such a fan of yours for so long, just because of the love you exude, man.
Yeah, I got you, Ed, bro. There's no reason why you don't have to be alone. And like Michael was saying, that's the whole point of this is to build a community, and you're part of that. So there's no reason to be alone. There's no reason to feel alone. And I will definitely give you a big hug.
Thank
Yes,
you
that
guys
is
so
my
much.
number, Isaiah. Thank you.
I'll give it to him.
All right, thank you. Yeah. Ed, Isaiah is going to give you my personal cell phone number, bro. And feel free to reach out anytime you
Awesome.
want.
I will write it down, and when I get my stuff unloaded out of the car, I'll shoot you a text saying who it is.
Yeah, man, and the other thing I want to tell you, Ed, is just breathe. You're not alone.
Yeah.
I love you. Michael loves you. We all got your back.
Thank you, man.
Things will get better. I promise. Just give yourself a little grace and trust that the universe is working everything out for you behind the scenes, and just trust in that, bro.
There's little things working. I don't know if you. On Tuesday, there's a sunset cruise with Algorithm playing.
Okay.
And they have a song out called Good Life. I don't know if you've heard it.
I haven't.
And Algorithm is the drummer from Stick Figure.
Okay.
Kevin Officer. And this song is like really meaningful to me and right now my ex-girlfriend.
Mm-hmm.
And she told me she got a ticket to the cruise on Tuesday, and I also got one. I called her and told her last night, and she started busting out ugly crying. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I can like sell the ticket if you. And then she's like, no, thank you so much, because I was really hoping you would get this ticket.
Oh,
yeah, man. See, and the fact that you found a place in the 11th hour, things.
Yeah, I was thinking that.
Yeah, man, things are. You got the universe has your back.
Yeah,
man.
I mean, look, here's something I would say to you, Ed, is the deadheads, screw them, don't sweat that. But what ends up happening is those situations end up dragging you into a place of like fear and scarcity, and it makes it harder. It makes it harder for you to see the opportunities. So that's why like the apartment came available in the 11th hour. Having peace, as Spanish was saying, having some grace for yourself right now, but allowing like imagine just for a moment how good it felt, because this is a show. We are just guys talking about our feelings.
Yeah.
When you tap into your feelings, it's important. So imagine how good it felt in that moment where your ex-girlfriend was like, hey, I'm so glad you're going to be there. Like, man, you can just, I feel warmth and love knowing what that was like. So
my gosh, it was amazing.
Right. So lean into that. And then the more you lean into that, the more the opportunities. And listen, man, there's good days and bad days.
Yeah.
There always is,
Absolutely.
But here's a couple of things. We're on the air every Saturday at noon. You can always call in if you're having a good day. I mean, share a good story. If you ever need somebody to lean on, obviously, Isaiah's going to give you Spanish's phone number to text him, and you guys hook up at the cafe.
That's awesome.
We got a YouTube show. Me and Spanish are posting a bunch of content on there, throughout the week. And the goal of that content is just to, share stories and give inspiration and just be real. Like that's the thing, is we're not trying to be like, oh, we're going to tell you a story about, no, man, we are literally being who we are.
Yeah.
Right. And it's so hard these days to find real people, though. They all want to put on this persona and portray themselves as such, and you find out it's totally not them.
But that's okay. That's that's all part of the dance, man. That's all part of the dance. And those people, those people are steering you more towards your own tribe, quote unquote, So don't hate on that, because those people are showing you the people that you don't want to be with.
Yes.
Right. And I wouldn't, like, both those people I was renting from were like being really aggressive, yelling and screaming at me. And I wouldn't engage. I'm like,
Good for you.
Good.
I can't do that.
Are you familiar
I need to live
with
my life in peace?
Are you familiar with the band Hippie Sabotage?
I am not.
So there's a song called Turtle in the Waves by Hippie Sabotage. Check it out. When you text me, I'll send you the YouTube link for that song and the video. I think you will really dig it, my friend. And you deserve peace, bro. You deserve peace.
Thank you, bud.
Hey.
You guys have no idea how much you guys have helped me today just by
awesome.
talking.
Yeah,
Hey, man, that's the idea. Sometimes you just need to talk. Sometimes you just need to let it all out. So, hey, man, we're going to jump to another caller, but Ed, we'll take care of you. We'll take care of you, and we'll get you we'll get you Spanish's number. All right.
Absolutely. Thank you, guys. You guys have an awesome day. Love you
you,
guys.
Ed. Don't
Cool.
tell us what to do.
Awesome. Love you, Ed. Take care, buddy. Man.
Yeah, that's tough, man.
It is tough, but it's funny. You and I were thinking the same thing. It's like trying to help you out. Universe is like trying to give you things.
Yeah.
Had to wait till the 11th hour to get that.
Yeah.
So, something. Oh man, I just lost it. It was coming to me a second ago, and I forget what I was going to say about Ed. And if I talk out loud, it'll eventually
pop in there.
I don't know, but yeah, I mean, what you just heard, whatever it is, if you're like Ed, if you got a good story, 1-800-771-1025, 1-800-771-1025. Can I ask you a question?
Yes, please. I love questions.
So scrolling through texts, when I texted you this morning, I had a question about the phone number, and I thought, well, maybe Spanish sent it to me, and I started scrolling through text. When I scroll through my text messages from you, it is so crazy how many times you say, "I love you."
Yeah.
What's the story behind that?
So first of all, I do love you.
And I know you do. Let me say, I love you.
Thank you.
I am absolutely like. It was a funny thing when I kind of sort of knew you when I worked here 10 years ago, but I know what emanates from you is pure love, and I know that that's important for you to say.
Yeah, it is very important for me to say. It started because when I was, I want to say 15 years old, I had a close family friend. His name is Shane Doyen, and we were very close. And I had the privilege of spending a Friday evening with him. We were just playing video game Nintendo 64. That's
nice.
Back in the day, a little
Heck
GoldenEye.
yes.
Yeah, right. So, and then that weekend he passed away. He got in the car with his buddy during a high school party, and he didn't know his buddy was drunk, and they hit a semi head on, and he died instantly. And I remember when I found out I can remember it vividly. The very first thought I had was I never got to tell him I loved him. I never got to tell him that one last time. And from then on, it was just something that I told all of my friends from in high school and then in college. And I love it for two big reasons, because I do feel a lot of love for people in general. I just think that it's not wrong to love everybody because they all deserve it.
Right.
And the other part that I really loved was it can make some people very uncomfortable, and I do enjoy that little awkward moment, those little things I do really enjoy, because you don't get those moments a lot where somebody really has no idea how to take you.
Yes.
So but what I really enjoy about it now is now all my friends, we say it to each other all the time. It has become very commonplace. I experience it with people now more. Like last night I was walking around downtown St. Pete, and bartenders, people, I met this guy, his name was Cody. He was very drunk at the bar, and he was sitting next to me, and he bumped me, and he's like, "Oh, I'm sorry, bro, I'm sorry." I was like, "Hey, man, no worries, dude, I love you." And he just looked at me, and he was like, "I love you too, man." And I was like, "Yeah, there you go." Like, sometimes it just comes right out, and I could see in his face, he didn't really know if he wanted to say it, and then when he said it, he was like, he nodded and was like, "Yeah, I do love you. There's no reason not to." And I was like, exactly. So that is the I love you story. And like I said, I love telling it to people. People deserve to hear it.
I didn't tell you this, but so you and I have this thing now on Fridays where we meet at Grassroots to talk about the show and stuff. I'm always working up there upstairs, and I full on was like, all right, when he gets here and he rounds the corner, I just want to be like, "Spanish, I love you."
Yeah.
Give a big hug and make everybody in Grassroots be like, "What the hell?"
I would have loved that.
Yeah. But when you left yesterday and you were rounding the corner, I was like, "I love you."
Yeah. I noticed because I went, "I love you too. I love you too." And I know there was one guy sitting right by the stairs, and he was on his laptop, and then he just looked. And I wanted to look at him, and I wanted to say, "You know you do too. You know you do too, bro. I know you feel it in there."
Yeah. But that's that. But again, I think that's that. It just, when I saw the text this morning, I was like, man, Spanish says I love you a lot.
Yeah.
There's got to be a reason. It can't just be a thing. Because when I would have met you 12 years ago, probably the first time you walked out of my office as an intern and was like, "I love you," I probably was like, why did that little man just say that?
Yeah, dude. It really throws people off. It either throws people off, or it immediately brings their walls down, and they're like, "Oh, damn, I had a moment where ego didn't exist for a second." And I do love you. So yeah, like I said, I enjoy it very much.
800-771-1025. Let's jump on Bob really quick before we go to break. Bob, what's going on, my friend? Welcome to Let's Get Real.
Hey, guys.
Hey.
Good afternoon. Yeah. Hey, how are you doing?
Good.
Hey, so two things. One is I learned in high school from a friend of mine to say I love you before I leave any of my friends.
Mm-hmm.
And for that same reason that Spanish brought up just a little bit ago was I want that to be the last thing that they hear before they go somewhere, or my family or anybody, because you never know. You never know what's going to happen. And I've had that happen to a good friend of mine that passed away, but the last words he heard from me was that I loved him. So,
I bet that felt good.
I truly believe in that. Yeah, and it's funny because I went to a large corporation, and one of my friends and I were conversing, and I said to him before I left, I said, hey, I love you, man. And one of the guys that was listening, he goes, I don't think people say that enough.
Yeah.
And he was kind of taken back. He goes, I really like that. I really do like that. And I was like, yeah, I learned it in high school. So, but what I actually called about was there was a time about 2 or 3 months ago, and I had almost a Spanish episode. I didn't lose my shoes or anything, but and Spanish, we've met many times. But and you would know me if you saw me.
Your voice sounds very familiar.
But anyway, we ended up. I ended up. A lot of things changed at work. I was closing a business that I was running, and all this stuff was happening. And I literally left work to go to lunch, and I just was driving around. I had no idea where I was going. I almost felt lost. And then I just went home, and my wife was like, "What's going on? I see you're on your way home." And I'm like, "Yeah, I don't know why. I'm just going home. I don't know where else to go." And then I called one of those online help places, BetterHelp. They match you with a therapist.
Yeah.
And but I knew what was wrong. I mean, I knew I was overstressed. I knew all of these things were happening. And the lady was like, "Well, it sounds like you have identified everything. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to do some research." But she didn't really know at that time what to do. Like, she was kind of taken back a little bit. And I think it was just that I just needed to talk to somebody or get a hug,
dude.
Just to get it out, because I was just kind of lost mentally. Like, I don't know what to do at this point. But I think something you said early on too is like everything has its time and everything has its place, and it's always going to be better tomorrow. And if it's not tomorrow, it's tomorrow's tomorrow. Mm-hmm. And you just know that in time it will take care of itself.
Yeah, so. I agree with you. And listen, man, I don't know if you have my cell phone number, but I'll give it to you too, bro. I don't even care anymore. So if you ever want to talk or hang out, dude, I'm always going to be there. And I've noticed Bob. Yeah, I thought it was Bob. I wanted to call you Rob, but it's Bob. Sometimes when I'm having those moments, the same as you, where I've identified everything that I'm feeling, and I don't know why I still feel so weird in my feels, I'll stop and I'll take a minute and I'll kind of like let go of my attachments, because I've really come to understand that right now in the present moment, none of that stuff mattered. You can't take any of it with you. And I mean, even like my attachments to my parents, to jobs, to the clothes on my back, to my car, to my ego. And that mental exercise has really helped me find the true value of things in the present moment when I'm so overly stressed and stretched too thin that I can't even hear myself think. Does that make sense?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And I've lost everything twice in life. Once when I got out of the military, and another time out of a divorce where I only had the clothes on my back. Yeah. And I've built myself up to owning, businesses and running and taking care of everything. And I never felt lost during those times. But the one time that I did feel, I was like, and I have friends in Spanish. I really appreciate the fact that you would put yourself out there and put yourself out there. I do have friends, and I talk to them, and everybody can understand and relate, but it's that time when you don't know who to turn to or what to do, and I think that happens to a lot of men, that everything's fine until it's not. Yes. And I think women in general show their emotions a lot more, so they don't bottle it up like men do. And then once men reach that point, and it's either they snap and they go crazy, or they just have a mental break. Yeah. And so.
Yeah, that's why something you said a minute ago when you said you reached out to the BetterHelp people, and what Spanish and I have said a lot is that if you need nothing else but to just talk for like 5 minutes and just verbally vomit. When I coach people, I give them the space to just vomit. I can always tell in a coaching session when somebody has got everything out because they take a big deep breath in, and then I always say, "Is there anything else?" But sometimes just doing that, Bob, doing that was a very therapeutic thing for you that day when you were driving around lost. And that's part of this show, is to give you the opportunity to be able to do that. But hey man, I appreciate you calling in and sharing that story. We have to go to break, but Bob, you can call. Thanks, hey man, if you're ever in a situation, seriously, if you're ever in a situation, or it just happens to be between noon and 2 on a Saturday, and you need to verbally vent, we are here, my friend.
And as you stay on hold, I'll give you my phone number so you can hit me up anytime, Bob.